live here now. Let's see. Whoops. LinkedIn. That's okay. That's just LinkedIn. Everybody else should have me. Do we have it?
Oh, there we go.
But why don't I see it there? I only see it there.
It says you're on.
Yeah, but I think I have this in front. If you go to brand, go down here, get rid of this. No, oh, no, over here. Hide. Ah, we figured it out. Thank you, Carrington. Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Wendy Walsh. We are now streaming live. It is Wednesdays with Dr. Wendy. And now I got to put it on comments so I can see the comments as they're coming in. Look, even without my glasses. Now you are first. Korn, Metallica, Megadeth, NASCAR, Joey Logan fan. That's some combination. Hi, everybody over there on Instagram. Tell me where you are, because I'm always curious to know where you are. Oh, Tom Guttrie's there. How are you, love? Good to see you. I'm going to put on glasses so I can read the comments better, because the Instagram ones are much further back. So I want to tell you guys what I want to do tonight, and I'll be looking for the cities that you're in, because it's always exciting when people are from all over. I want to talk a little bit, I'm a professor of health psychology. So when I teach health to my students, what we teach is that health isn't just about our cells. There's a biological, there's a psychological, and there's a social piece to our health. Health habits are highly contagious within social circles. Those are, excuse me for one moment. Hey, ladies, I'd love to hear you chatting, but during my live stream, it's very loud. Thank you. I have 2 daughters here, 2 of them. I asked them to be quiet for just a few minutes, but Anyway, so I teach health psychology. I teach people that health habits are highly contagious within social groups, both positive or negative health habits. But in addition, our relationships and the way we relate to each other can be positive or negative for our biology, right? So, one of the things we know, and I'm going to talk today a little bit. Hi, Bianca from New York. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Hi, Lokai from Sydney, Australia. What time is it there? Let's see, because I usually do my Australian segments around this time. So I bet you it's around 11 a.m. for you. From Thousand Oaks. Hello, Tom. So what I wanted to say is relationships are really good for our health. But when you look at the data says that long-term committed monogamous people, married or not, tend to have longer lives. They tend to have better health, both mental health and physical health. And they tend to accumulate more wealth. Well, that's a duh, right? Everything costs half as much when you're splitting the budget with everybody. So when you break this down, single people go, and I posted this week, and somebody who was single said, well, doesn't help me because I'm single. So I want to remind you that, sometimes it's what we call self-selective. In other words, hi, Phoenix, Arizona. How are you? Is it Marika? Is that happy people have happy relationships. Now, not everybody was raised where their early life made them feel warm, protected, safe, and comfortable, their early life attachments with parents and caregivers. So other people have to learn relationships. Yes, this is live. It's live. Thanks for asking. Why does it look pre-recorded? Because I have professional lights. Maybe that's why you think it looks. And I can't say your name. Is it Arisibileje? Too many consonants in that name. I can't say it. So what I was saying is that if you were somebody who was not given the luxury or the privilege to have healthy early life attachments with your primary caregivers, relationships can be learned. Relationships are far more about skill than luck. But even if you aren't in a relationship, I want to talk a little bit about how single people can get some of the health benefits of relationships. And then I'm going to open it up to your questions. Yes, I did answer. Oh, then he said, or she said, okay, cool. What is it about these magical committed relationships that helps extend people's lifespans and helps make them healthier, better mental health? Well, we do know that touch is very, very important. And the reason why premature babies survive with kangaroo care, as we call it, or skin-to-skin contact, is because their bodies are transferring a lot of neurohormones just through touch. Now, I know we're in a pandemic. Many of you are still quarantined. I know that touch is very difficult. But if we were not in quarantine, I would tell single people that if you could manage it in some way with your budget to have a weekly massage, it can really help your neurochemistry. Okay, so touch is very important. In the meantime, hello, Thomas from Maryland. In the meantime, if you can't, get a massage, then I really do recommend, I know it sounds corny, but you got to touch yourself. After a bath, put lotion on, give yourself a foot massage. Honestly, this can have some of the benefits. I also want to remind you that your pets can be sources of dopamine for you. They can lower your stress hormones, cortisol, etc. There's been lots of research on that. So take your time to give your fur babies some love. And those that have animals, I know, are doing that. So that's the first thing, is try to find ways to have touch in your life. I'm lucky. I'm quarantined with my 2 older daughters. And when they were babies, they were cuddle bunnies, I used to call them. And so the 3 of us are very comfortable hugging each other, kissing each other, snuggling in bed to watch movies at night. We're lately been going through all the Queer Eye episodes, the season when they were in Japan. When was that season, Carrington? Jones, when were they in Japan? Recently?
Yeah.
Oh. Or was it taped from a long time ago? Anyway, we love Queer Eye because it's so positive and they're transforming people's lives. So touch, number 1. Second thing, you know what love is? Love is a verb, and it is the verb to give. Anybody in a long-term relationship knows that it feels sometimes like you're doing most of the giving, but that's where you get the benefits. There was research done a few years ago by psychologists at UCLA, and they found that women in particular have a particular buffer against stress and anxiety because they tend and befriend, which means they care for others, they give, and they befriend, they get really social. Think about it. The last time you were on an airplane, sorry, I kicked my tripod. Instagram saw me go all shaky there for a minute. Anyway, so the last time you were on an airplane and there was turbulence, how many of you turned to the person at your right and made a joke or did something funny or caught their eyes? That's what humans do. We reach out for social connection whenever we feel stress. So it's really important, if you're single, that you still give back. I don't care if you volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club or work with at-risk kids, if you take care of the elderly, visit old folks' homes, not during quarantine, not right now. But if you find ways to give and volunteer. Speaking of volunteer, I want to remind you that it's really, what did I want to say about, see, I keep getting distracted by your comments. I'm like reading your comments and then I'm trying to talk at the same time, and it's very difficult. Did you know research done on men and women's brains have found that men can focus and tune everything else out a lot easier than women can? Hello, Robin Bertolucci from iHeartMedia. I'm just talking about how single people can get some of the health benefits of love that married people do. Here's what I want to say about volunteering. So remember, love is the verb to give, right? The more you give, the better you feel, because you're self-consoling at the same time. If you were raised by parents who were critical or abandoning or rejecting or just not there, neglectful, then if you learn to give to others at the same time, you're reparenting yourself. Your own brain is becoming healed. But the thing I wanted to say particularly about volunteering, and this has been my experience my whole life, is I meet the best people when I volunteer. For those of you who listen to my KFI radio show, or follow me on social media, you know that my big charity is the St. Joseph Center. It's one of Los Angeles's largest homeless service providers. And in fact, you're going to see me posting on social media soon because we have a virtual gala coming up. But when I go there, I meet compassionate people. I meet people who have a lot of love to give, and that's why they're volunteering, right? So you're going to actually meet like-minded people who will help teach you to love and to give and to trust, because many people who are single are partly single because they don't trust love. They don't trust that they can depend on somebody else to have their needs met. And it's really important that we learn that skill, sometimes with baby steps, Okay, so how can single people get the benefits, the health benefits that married people get? I mentioned touch. I mentioned volunteering. I mentioned your furry pets. And Also, the last thing I want to say is nurture all your platonic relationships. Now, right now we're under quarantine, so that means using telephone and FaceTime. I'm a big, big fan of old-fashioned voice, and I'll tell you why. I've been doing Zoom and FaceTime with lots of my friends, but when your brain is distracted by the visual, it doesn't, especially a screen in between the two of you, it does not feel as intimate as simply closing your eyes, putting that person in your ear, and having a real conversation, because you pick up so much through vocal tone. How can somebody ask me how they can volunteer at the St. Joseph Center? Just go to the St. Joseph Center online. There's a list of volunteers. They want so many people to help out. It's a great, great place. Okay. What else did I want to say about love? How single people can get the benefits once you get out of quarantine. I want you volunteering. I want you nurturing platonic relationships. I want you meeting empathetic people. And I want you to, if you don't have pets, hey, I've been nurturing my little babies in my garden. I don't know if you saw my Instagram story last night, but I took a picture of the salad that I made, that I grew everything, 100% of it from seed. I started in February, seeding them on my kitchen windowsill, and then eventually transferred the seedlings to a little garden. Okay, so your questions now, bring them on. I've got answers. And if I don't have answers, then I will, I'll fake it. I'll find the answer. I love questions that I don't know the answer to, because then it gives me something new to research. You know what my nickname is, right? Nerd Barbie, because I'm just so geeky and I love to find the data and the research on anything to do with human behavior. And thank you from Korn, Metallica, Megadeth, NASCAR, Joey Logan fan. You post so much on my feeds and I don't understand your name. But anyway, your question was, how is Tony Noakes? I actually spoke with him today. He's great. And you wanted to know about the Consumer Attorney Marketing Group infomercials. And let me say this. Big landmark thing happened last night. I don't know if you guys have been following it, but for at least a year, I have been doing commercials warning women and mothers, putting it on their babies, about the dangers of talc and asbestos in baby powder. And yesterday, Johnson & Johnson took all their talc-based powders off the market. Now, you're going to see it on the shelves until they sell out, but they told the FDA no more. So no shower to shower, no Johnson & Johnson baby powder, gone, because it migrates. If you put it on near your genitals, it migrates and can cause ovarian cancer. So one question is, what's my Insta? It's the same everywhere, you guys, at Dr. Wendy Walsh, at Dr. Wendy Walsh. It's uniform across everything. Hi, Dana Ogdenberg. I remember meeting you at one of our great Lift Teak events down in Orange County. I'm actually going to do a Lift Teak event on live. Look, I kicked my tripod again. Sorry, Instagram. Yes, talk to the plants and hug a tree. I do talk to my plants. My plants. Pants? No, my plants. Anybody got some good questions for me? Besides how's Tony Noakes? I have lots of information about the science of love. And in fact, I had this great idea. So I have this lecture that people pay me to come to their groups and talk. And I was thinking of doing it as a Zoom and putting the link out for everybody. But I think I can do it so we won't get trolls attacking and doing stuff like they did in some college classes at the beginning of Zoom. There's got to be a setting for that. So, and I'm thinking of doing my 30-minute lecture on the science of love, because there's a lot to the science. There are biological pieces to love. There are psychological pieces to love. Of course, there are social pieces. Somebody asked me, am I single? Well, here's how I word it. This is very important to understand. I am currently not in an adult romantic relationship, but I have very secure attachments with my teen and young adult child and my close friends. And when my nest is empty, which will be a year from now, folks, just saying, then I will have time to have and be able to really commit and have my attention. The truth is, I was raising young girls and I read the stats. I know there's so many great guys out there, fabulous men who are amazing stepfathers, who are just great people. However, one of the most dangerous places for a child to live in America is in a home with a non-biologically related male. Mommy's boyfriend, stepdad, stepbrothers, 8 times the risk of abuse, whether it's physical, emotional, or God forbid, sexual. And so I just decided to not expose my kids to somebody else living in the house. So it's been the three of us for a long time, like 15 years. And now I have my oldest daughter graduating next week. Can I say it, Carrington? Well, she's got a headset in and she's dancing. She's down there. I'm up in a loft above the living room, and she's literally, I wish I could put the camera, she's dancing with a headset. She's graduating from Harvard next week. I'm so sad that the whole graduation thing is blown up and it's going to be online. But oh well, we're going to try to celebrate her in any way we possibly can. Okay. What else did I want to say? And then my other daughter is my artsy athlete who's very cool and fun. And she's been working on her online digital portfolio. She's also such an introvert. Anybody here introvert? If you're an introvert, write the word introvert. If you are, thank you for the good congratulations. I thank it because I feel like I earned it. Okay. I had to do all the raising to get her there. If you're an introvert and are enjoying quarantine, can you tell me what you like best about it? Because I'm really curious. Somebody's not. No, I'm an extrovert. This is hard for me. If I didn't have you guys here, how would I survive? I mean, honestly, if I think of it, for 2 days a week, I used to do 2.5-hour lectures to my students twice a week. And then, of course, I still have my listeners on KFI, thank goodness, and my Mating Matters podcast listeners, thank goodness. But tell me about these introverts. Do you feel a sense of relief, or 9 weeks into it, are you also climbing the walls? Are you wishing to be able to call people and do stuff? Thank you, Robert, for the congrats. I am very proud. Thank you, Fargo Stevens. Lots of introverts, though. I love this. Lots of introverts reading, watching movies. Does anyone want to tell me what is the best series to watch on Netflix right now? And guys, don't get dark on me. I don't like any murder, crime. I even started to watch Ozark, and I was just kind of like, it seemed so stereotypical, making fun of people in rural areas. And I don't think they're all like that. And I like comedy. And I like really interesting foreign films. So if you have suggestions for me, you see my commercials in Oklahoma. Hi, Rebecca. My brother lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in fact. Oh, yes, Brian, Sex Education on Netflix. My teenager watched all of it. It is a great one. It's a lot of fun. And also that other Netflix one called, the docuseries called Sex Explained. I was literally editing it in my head, going, they forgot to add this. Oh, they need to add that. Terrible. Okay, Daniel, I did also watch Schitt's Creek. Now, I'm Canadian, eh? So there, I get it. I get the Canadian actors, the Canadian scenes. But anyway, after a while, I got kind of bored with it. Yes, the Tiger Show. I had to have a frontal lobotomy after I got through the Tiger Show. Can you believe, did you guys see the commencement special, the graduation special on Saturday night where President Obama spoke and he mentioned the Tiger King? Now, can you picture Joe Exotic sitting in jail going, Obama mentioned my name. See how famous I am? He already has raging narcissistic personality disorder. And now we're just going to feed it. Somebody asked me where I am. I am in Los Angeles, California. Jimmy, that's a great suggestion. Anything by Robin Williams. Love Robin Williams. And oh, interesting. Somebody said they always thought they were an introvert, but apparently an extrovert to the rest of the world. Huh. I'll tell you. You know how you know you're an extrovert? When you hear a thought for the first time outside of your lips. I'm not joking. Outside of your lips. Happens to me. I have to work hard to keep that edit mode working. Kind of Toronto, asking where I'm from. So my dad was Canadian Navy, and so I was born in Nova Scotia. And then we moved out to Victoria on the West Coast. Get it? Oceans, Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Navy. And then at the end of his career, it was Ottawa, Toronto, Ottawa, Toronto. So I've kind of lived all over. And my extended family are all on Prince Edward Island. And if you have never been to Prince Edward Island, you should go. It's the most beautiful place on the planet. There's a show on Showtime, Daniel says, called Billions. What else have we got? Oh, thank you, Olga. That's very nice. Very nice. Oh, and then the swearing people. No, your actual screen name is swear words. The C word, no less. I'm curious to know what Dr. Freud would think of that. Oh, you're a trucker. Your truck has been there. My nephew, Brady, is a trucker, and he trucked, he was taking, seafood down the eastern seaboard, and he got COVID, and he drove 20 miles alone in his cab. He wouldn't stop to eat or go to the bathroom or anything, or 20 miles, 20 hours. He slept in his cab, and he got home safely. His last little trip is he stopped in Toronto, and they took off whatever he had and loaded it up with medical supplies that he took to the East Coast. And he's in New Brunswick, and he's recovered now because he's 25 and he's tough as nails, right? Okay. Oh, good question. Jim Maloney says, why are they only recording COVID deaths by man and woman and not all the other genders? And I would think the answer to that is there are too many genders. There are countless numbers of genders. And I think putting people into any kind of box is not fair and kind of hard. And Tom, thank you. You listen to KFI every Sunday. I'm here from 4 to 6 live. And I'm sitting right now actually in the studio that iHeartRadio built for me during quarantine. So I did literally sit up here wearing my favorite sweatshirt. I'm not for everyone, as you can see. I'm for most, I hope, but not for everyone. So 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific, I'm always here. Okay, any other questions? Thank you for all the hearts over there on Instagram. That's really sweet of you. Somebody said, if you don't mind, I'm going off topic. How many commercials have you done? I nominate you for award. Well, I'm going to tell you the very first commercial I ever did. I just made a latte before this. Like I have this new, the little milk frother thing, and it worked so well. I wanted to have a little caffeine for you guys. So how many commercials? So my very first commercial I did in, I think, 1989. And I was a Keystone beer girl in a bathing suit. Keystone, Colorado. I think it was it a Coors product? Maybe? It was called Keystone. Anyway. And it was the series of commercials were what if or something, or imagine if, and it was guys' fantasies. And imagine if I was stuck on a desert island with a supermodel, and I was pretending to be a supermodel for it. And I've probably done hundreds of commercials in my life because, I like to eat. It pays well. But I would never promote anything that I don't believe in. I do have some scruples. I do have some ethics. So you should know that. And I think that some of the commercials that I currently do for law firms perform a very, very important public service. There are so many people who could never afford attorneys, and to not have to pay and become part of a class action against a predatory corporation, I think is a really important public service. So on my, it's asking me to click on live stream for new comments. That's funny. Oh, so it was a Coors product, was it, Tom? Okay, good to know. This cup reminds you of the movie Get Out. Did they use these cups? She's still got her headset on. Carrington, somebody said this cup reminds him of the movie Get Out.
That's the scene where he gets hypnotized and sent to the second place.
Oh.
It's bad.
The scene where he gets hypnotized and sent to the second place? The sunken place? I've not seen that one, actually. Okay. Thank you for that nice compliment, R. Mastro 2000. Very kind of you. Fraser Park, hello. Nick Levin from Fraser Park. Anybody have any more questions, or should we wrap this puppy up? Anybody got any real questions for me? Oh, it says new comments. I have to click for new comments for some reason. Yes, I will watch that movie. I watched what was the other one they did? The same producers. Amal, I love this question. You have talking to me, I guess, you have a fighter spirit, and you seem to be the type who doesn't give up. How do you keep faith during tough times? Well, I'm going to answer as a psychologist and a professor of psychology. Humans do best when they're looking forward. We all need to have goals. We need to have deadlines. And so I never look back. I mean, I look back and go, what could I have done differently there? What did I learn? I do some of that. But for the most part, I'm always planning something new, and I'm always creating something new. If any of you are fans of no, I have not been to Turkey for hot. I have not, but I'd like to go. And, oh, Rick, I see you're a neighbor. Wonderful. I walk all around that beach area. Trust me. What was I just saying, though? See, I lost my train of thought. Oh, looking forward. So if you guys have been listening to No Friday, I didn't see your question. Ask it again. It's going by so fast. Friday with Mateo. During quarantine, what have I been planning? I've been planning new episodes of Mating Matters podcast. So if you've been listening, I want you to tune in soon. Producer Brooke Peterson is going to be editing some for us. In addition, I have been working on potentially getting involved with a new startup company that I don't want to talk about yet, but it's very interesting what they're doing. I've also been planning, when quarantine ends and it's legal, a bit of a road trip, see some places in America where it'll be safe to go. So Friday with Mateo, you can give your question again because I did not see it. What else? Were you the lady in the injury helpline commercials from the late 90s and early 2000s? No, from the last few years. I don't know what commercials I did in the late 90s, 2000s. I've always been doing commercials for the last 30 years, different points. Somebody asked me, oh, they like my glasses. Thank you. I have a number I didn't bring my whole wardrobe of glasses. I could put contacts in, but I don't know. I just kind of like glasses. These ones kind of put dents though in my nose. Question is, how do I like Los Angeles? I got to say, when I landed in California, I was home. You know what it is? It's Canada with better weather, a lot better weather, meaning that I think people are innovative. It's the really center of the tech industry, and so many cultural things come out of California and spread over the rest. It is the breadbasket of America, so we're feeding everybody. So we're, and woohoo to the agriculture industry. People who think the entertainment industry is the biggest industry in California are wrong. It's agriculture. We are feeding so many people in this state. And no Friday with Mateo. I have not been to Vietnam, but I would love to go. Recently, we were looking at some very old pictures. Oh, maybe Carrington can grab it for me. Carrington? Jonesy, is there a pile of pictures there? Can you bring them up to me? Is that a pile or just a picture of me and my parents? Can you bring it up? I want to show these people because they're going to crack up when they see this. I took a trip. I've been to many, many places in the world. Sorry, not Vietnam and not Turkey. So there's two places I got to go when we can get back on planes. But many, many, many years ago, I took a trip with my friend Ron Rice. I don't know if you're on here, Ron. He is the founder of Hawaiian Tropic Suntan Lotion. And he and his lovely wife at the time, we went to where did we go? We went to Le Mans, France to watch that race. Then we went to Athens, Greece. And then we ended up in Israel. And I'm joking when I say this, guys, this is a joke. Then I joined the Israeli army. I don't know if I'm going to try to first put the picture up for these people to see. There's me holding a machine gun with the Israeli army. Yeah, how crazy is that, right? And then I'll show Instagram. The funny pictures. Now, could you imagine, and this would have been about 1989 or 90. Can you imagine in this day and age, if you were walking down the street and you were just a pretty girl and said, hey, military guys, can I hold your machine gun for a picture? And they would just hand it to you? It's a different time now. But back then, they were just trusting. Question earlier, what do you think about... I don't know this kind of therapy, and I'm afraid I'm going to say it incorrectly, Friday with Mateo, for treating depression. And I don't know if it's a drug therapy or whether it's was that an Uzi I held? Says Ping Pong Dave. I'm not actually sure what that treatment is, but I will have to look it up. Let me see my next comments. There are more that opened up here. It's kind of funny how every once in a while, like, oh, hello from New York. Every once in a while, these comments on StreamYard will just flow. And then all of a sudden it'll say, click to see new comments. Can't post new comments, it'll say. It's very weird. But if I click on comments, they should show up in the thing. Like, let's find one I like. Oh, someone from the UK. Oh, no, you're not from the UK. You're asking me, have I been to the UK? A trillion times. I took my kids and we spent a summer there, and I've been there for work and I've been there for media. Yeah, just checked 2017. Did a lot of media for a certain reason. And somebody wants to know, here's a sexuality question. why do I tend to attract almost exclusively vanilla sexual partners when that's not what I'm looking for? Is there anything you've already recorded on this topic or can refer me to? I don't have anything recorded, but I'll tell you that no matter what your sexual behavior is, you have to communicate it. You have to communicate it early on and not be shy about it. I mean, my feeling is if you can't talk about sex, you shouldn't be having sex. Here's a good question from Tom Hurd. The question is it okay to be home when you want to surf? Well, here's the good news. You're allowed to surf now, at least in California. I don't know where you are, Tom, but here in California, what you're not allowed to do is get together in big groups and lie together on towels, breathing all over each other. But you're allowed to run, walk, surf, boogie board. All of that is allowed. Okay, so you can do that. Now, the comments on Instagram, there's a little thing that came up that had a question. I don't know if that's a private chat. I don't know enough about the tech to figure out. And someone asked me, am I on YouTube? I should be on YouTube right now. Hello, YouTube. Yes, because I use StreamYard and it should stream onto there. Everywhere, it's at Dr. Wendy Walsh, at Dr. Wendy Walsh. And I've been making a big playlist that's on my YouTube channel called Coronavirus News, from a health psychology professor. So I talk about everything from relationship issues during quarantine to handling self-help treatments for anxiety and depression to, relationship stuff to health stuff, whatever. Okay. Any more? So I'm sliding down. Oh, someone from San Diego. Love San Diego. That's got to be a great place, a great place. All right, if we don't have any more comments, I'm going to wrap it up. But I do want to say this. I have this 30-minute, I think, very fascinating talk that I give to any group, companies, community groups, women's groups, etc., on the actual science of love, the biopsychosocial piece of love. And so I think what I'm going to do is sometime this week, so watch my social media, anywhere at Dr. Wendy Walsh. And here, let me do some banners here so you guys can remember where you're going to find me, which is here. Look at this. I'm learning how to use, back to the comments. So Rebecca's logging out. Thanks. Good to see you. Good to see you. And my podcast is Mating Matters. So you can find it. It's the purple icon. But anyway, watch my social media because what I'm going to do is post a Zoom link. I'm going to try this out. And I'm going to give my 30-minute talk for free. Like, people have paid me thousands and thousands of dollars to give this talk, but I want to just give it to you because you deserve it. Anyway, thank you so much for being with me. It's always a treat to be here. I am here every Wednesday at 6 o'clock for this live stream. If you have any questions about mental health, about relationships, about family dynamics, always post them here and I'll try my darndest to answer them. Stay strong. Wash your hands. We're going to get through this, okay? And I know some people are really suffering through this, so I don't mean to make light of it. But thanks so much for being with me. We'll see you next week. All right, I hit end broadcast here, and then I go up to Instagram.